Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular View.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
New flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Shots do that. I don't want to sit too hard garbage. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Bobby.
Because there was no Jay White site.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging.
This story has been finished. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad.
May I see your invitation, please?
Sure. Here's my invitation.
Yeah, that worked good. Right out the old front gate.
Can you lean back a second?
Mr. Tasker's office.
Hi, it's Helen. Is he in?
Harry's in a sales meeting, Mrs. Tasker.
It's not like he's saving the world or anything.
True lies.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is some truths, there's some lies, and I can't stand lies. How can there possibly be true lies? But we are concluding Arnold Schwarzenegger month with my pick, because the other two freaked up so bad, with my pick of one of his most notable movies, and that is True Lies. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the show. True Lies. I can't wait to talk about this one. I actually enjoyed this one, unlike that stupid crap they had me watch last week and the week before that. But let's go ahead and bring in the people responsible for me watching that stupid crap I watched last week and the week before that. And we're talking about Next Doctor, Looney Tunes. What's going on, gents?
You're welcome.
I'm here.
Why is your name Looney Tunes?
Because that's what this movie was, Looney Tunes.
So, True Lies, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, talks about a family who, the wife believes that the husband is a salesman, but in actuality, he is a spy with his kooky best friend, and they're trying to stop a terrorist organization from causing a lot of damage. However, at the same time, he realized his wife possibly could start possibly cheating. So he had to risk all of America to try to save his failing marriage because he's too stupid to see why his wife might want comfort from another man. But the man was the funniest part of this movie because he is a goof and apparently has a small penis. But that's where we're at, and that's where we're getting at. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, True Lies. I love this. Can't wait to talk about it. But let's hear from these two people who picked terrible movie picks. Let's start with the Next Doctor. Next Doctor, what you got for us?
True Lies. Okay, so pretty sure this is one that I saw in theaters. And yeah, it was a fun ride back when I saw it at first. You're welcome. Jamie Lee Curtis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course. Both draws for this movie. I do appreciate when you've got another big star that can, go toe to toe with Arnold in his movies. I do like when he plays off of that, even though, as I said in the last movie for Twins, that, I didn't really appreciate it now as an adult. I still appreciated the dynamic between Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I appreciate the dynamic between Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger, even Tom Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And shout out to the late Bill Paxton, also did a great job in this movie. Not only having a small penis, but as you see at the end of the movie, a bit of incontinence too. So yeah, I mean, this was an action movie. This was Arnold in his element as an action hero, and some Jamie Lee Curtis in doing some action as well. And yeah, this was a fun ride from beginning to end. Definitely had a nice there's some one-liners from Arnold in there. And yeah, I was enjoying this movie for the most part. It was fun. And that's all I've got right now, at least.
Looney Tunes. Explain your loony idea of how this movie is Looney Tunes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I must say that I promise you, we don't do substances before we film. Okay, Chris, you were zooming when you did this intro. I want you to know that, okay? But salute to you, okay? For you, I love your energy, okay?
Hey, the cocaine is pure, baby.
I know nothing. I know nothing, okay? Anybody who's watching later in life, I know nothing, okay? And I'm not insinuating that you did. I'm just saying you were flying high, okay? Anyway, why did I say that this movie was Looney Tunes? Because it absolutely is Looney Tunes. Now, Chris mentioned it. We did The Running Man. We did Twins, and we did True Lies, okay? Now, with The Running Man, it's the 80s, and there's an 80s schlock that the next doctor and I talked about, okay? There's a certain level of cheese that you expect from 80s films. Rewatching this one, as we talked about when we rewatched Twins, there are certain things that you pick up that wouldn't necessarily be allowed in film today. I haven't decided whether or not that's good or bad, but comparing then to now, it is arguably Looney Tunes. Let me explain what I mean. The movie is about a spy agency. It's not the CIA. It's something above the CIA. They do covert missions, okay? Almost like the IMF with the Mission Impossible movies or something like that. It's a separate organization. And it establishes before the movie sidelines to a married couple who I'm not so uncertain isn't the same couple from Jingle All the Way, okay? Concerning the dynamic between the husband and wife. Is following a terrorist who has, I believe it's 4 nuclear bombs, okay, that he's going to send out in different areas of the country or world, okay? He can do whatever he wants. But even in the dissemination of that information, it is presented in a laughable, cartoonish way. The tension of it is never upheld. What am I comparing that to? We did a movie a couple of months ago, The Long Kiss Goodnight, where they also had, it wasn't a nuclear bomb, but it was like a smaller bomb, but of the fusion type scale. And the tension is ratcheted up. There are comedic elements in that, but it doesn't come at the expense of the seriousness of the scenes that we're watching. And this one, it did. You have the terrorist who, no matter, I don't care if he's in an air-conditioned room, this man is sweating like he's outside in Florida, middle of August. I'm like, this man has a stomach virus or something because something is going on. You have the guy who's holding the camcorder who's shaking because the battery is low. Now, it's a funny concept, okay? Because whenever you watch these videos and you've been around your friends, you know what I mean? You might be drinking, you might be doing whatever. And you say this, hey, I wonder if the battery ever dies on those things. Like, do those guys get in trouble when they're filming the thing? You don't really see those tapes now because we have the internet and it's so prevalent and the different platforms that you can do. But if you come up from that era, that would be a funny concept. However, they're talking about something very, very serious, so it takes you out of that moment. So again, I say Looney Tunes. Is the dynamic between I'm blanking on his name. Arnold and his partner, Tom
Arnold.
Tom Arnold, fantastic. Yes, I think Tom Arnold steals the movie arguably, and so does who was it? The terrorists when they're on screen, because they have that dynamic personality to them. I saw this movie in theaters, okay, when it first came out. And that sequence when they're running through DC and he's on the horse and he's on the motorcycle and he makes a jump and you're like, are they going to have him jump that with the horse? It's so ridiculous. But you go for it and people are on the edge of their seats. It's so good. You know what I mean? But again, you have the touch of Arnold. He's not leaving behind these one-liners. It doesn't work in a 90s action, big budget action film. Can you imagine if you saw some of these same antics in Terminator 2? Which is arguably far lighter in tone than Terminator 1, which is more of a thriller than Terminator 2, which is an action film. So that's why I say Looney Tunes. Again, I haven't decided whether or not it's thumbs up, thumbs down on that, but it was interesting to look back on this movie that I did see originally when it came out, and I have seen subsequently to see what I liked and disliked. I have more to say about it, but let me just be inappropriate right now and say this. Salute to Jamie Lee Curtis, because I don't think that, at least to my knowledge, she hasn't been given enough roles where they highlight, and I'm going to say it, just how good she looks. I've always said it. When I saw her in Trading Places, she looked good. The woman looks good. And a lot of the roles, they don't really highlight that how just attractive she is. And in this one, you have the sequence with her and her husband, whom she doesn't know is her husband, where she has to seduce him, you know what I mean? And you know, I don't know what we can say on the platform, but, you know, seduce him. And she looks fantastic. And it's done so sensually and played so true and so realistic, it captivates you and it takes you in. And again, then it's undercut by Looney Tune action. Also, shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis's character in the film, who knows he's on that sodium pentothal, which is serum, ladies and gentlemen. And so she says, "How long have you been a spy? Are you a spy? Where do you work? What are they going to do? What's your social security number? We are, in fact, married. Here's the picture of us together. I'm giving the terrorists everything they need so that they can torture us." Do you see what I'm saying? I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in situations like this, do these characters think of what they're supposed to be doing? Because it's like they don't. Shout out to Arnold's character, who was truly under the effect, but he was able to shake it off to a certain degree in order to get them out of there, because he steadies himself once they get out of the shed. But then he goes on what I would argue is the greatest 1980s commando rampage and destroys the whole organization. Shout out to the organization that they work for, which again is bigger than the CIA, but only has helicopters to fly from DC to Miami. It took them forever to get to the Florida Keys, even though their only agent, their top agent, was kidnapped along with his family. I'll save the rest for later, but those are my Looney Tunes thoughts right now. True lies.
You know, I'll piggyback that Looney Tunes because when the talked about the portion where the horse, is the horse going to jump over? You know, and it's set up for this dramatic thing, and then the horse is like,
yeah,
and then Arnold goes flying over the side. You know, for better or worse, that part was hilarious.
Yeah,
because I was like, I know they're not jumping the horse, even when
but
they're first.
So serious, like, you would buy it.
I mean, I would.
I mean, in the theater,
you know, I was thinking, okay, how are they going to make this work? How are they going to, you know, make it believe that a horse is about to jump this thing? And then they're like, oh, we're not actually going to make you believe that. Mm-hmm. And he goes off the side.
It was a good call, but I liked it. I was with it.
Yeah, it was a good setup. Executive consultant, this is your movie. This is your life.
This has been said. Looney Tunes down there practicing that hate life, but that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after a quick commercial break, and we're going to tell you why this movie gets 3 thumbs up. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
We'll take it from here.
Who the hell are you? INS Division 6.
There is no Division 6.
We are the men in black.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
Series 4 deatomizer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Noisy cricket.
I feel like I'm gonna break this damn thing.
Oh, it gets better. Dad, we have a bug.
Men in black, protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts.
I know what you really are.
How does he do it?
You want the truth? Nothing is impossible.
Abracadabra.
No more secrets.
Secrets of my life.
What happened?
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
Lots of interesting movies. Lots of interesting movies coming out in the next couple of weeks that we're going to review. Can't wait to talk about it, but we're here talking about True Lies, arguably one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's greatest movies. Hey, I forgot about the Christmas movie he made. He's made some stinkers, hasn't he? But I like True Lies, and I'm going to start off with my thumbs up or thumbs down just to get out the way. Hey, was I entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Of course I was entertained. I picked it. I don't pick bad movies. True Lies, man, gets a thumbs up for me. And Rashad, next doctor, let's find out why you also give True Lies a thumbs up.
So True Lies, again, to James' point, it was definitely Looney Tunes. Yeah, it was an action movie, but this also I think would be considered an action comedy because of all of the gags they had in it. I did enjoy when I first saw it again. Jamie Lee Curtis, I do also agree. That scene was like, oh, okay. I've never really looked at Jamie Lee Curtis like that, but she can pull it off. I like the Arnold, the one-liners. I think they did work. They don't hit as well as in his other movies. The one when kind of like the final one when the terrorist is on the rocket and he's like, "You're fired." And you try, okay, it's Arnold. You were expecting it, but didn't really hit. Not like even though I didn't mention it in the last one for Twins. Yeah, when he told the doctors, like, "Hey, if you're lying to me, I'll be back." That one did work. This one didn't. So, it worked in a bad movie, didn't work in what Chris considers a good movie. But overall, I did enjoy this movie. I've seen it a few times before, and seeing it again, I was like, oh yeah, I still believe this is a funny movie. It's still an enjoyable movie. I would see it again. I can put this one on again, enjoy it, just watch it, have some fun. Because I do also agree, Tom Arnold, he did a great job in this movie. He does. I don't know about stealing the show, but he definitely makes the comedy, makes the movie continue. Like he pushes it forward. He gives you that comedic relief that allows you to, come out of the heavy kind of themes that are in there and still, have some fun and enjoy the ride. So yeah, this is definitely a thumbs up for me.
No surprise there. Looney Tunes were down to you. Complete the trifecta. Give this movie the complete opposite of what Twins got. Give it all thumbs up.
Well, listen, this movie had everything you want. It was Looney Tunes. I will say that the next doctor did persuade me in a certain way because he said you have to watch it as an action comedy, not watch it as an action film. There are different rules in action comedy, obviously, than in action. And this is not whether or not this is the greatest action comedy ever made. Okay. But like I said, this movie had everything you want. It had that bad little kid who just needed it.
At least once a day.
And then when they got into serious trouble, they were all screaming for their daddy. But before that, they were pickpockets, You had the sweaty terrorist. I'm sorry, that's not him. There you go. Yeah, the sweaty terrorist. Shout out to his barber who's making a fortune. Shout out to the guy who was napalm when Arnold put his gun next to the gasoline and the whole cartridge didn't explode. But shout out to that guy who got napalm. Listen, you had Jamie Lee Curtis who was playing a bored housewife who cheats on her husband, has been cheating on her husband, goes through with the mission to continue to cheat on him, arguably to save the world, not to go to jail. But she looks good. So shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis for doing that. And then slaps him when she finds out he's been a CIA agent. Listen, this movie had everything you want, except common sense. Now, Chris said, give it the trifecta. And Chris, I want to quote you. I would love to give this movie. I agree with everything you said, including the energy that you came in on the show.
Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
But unfortunately,
I did not. I didn't do it. Don't you say it.
I wish I had that clip lined up.
I didn't do it.
Oh, I want to do the hair thing when he pulls the knife back. Oh, I missed that movie. Am I gonna be nice? Somebody told me behind the show that I'm a mean somebody. That I should be nice and I should say, hey, I realized that I didn't understand what you just asked me at all. And I know this movie is Looney Tunes and it's supposed to be played straight in straight moments. But let me go ahead and give this thumb down movie a thumbs up. Well, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm getting a discount. Thumbs up, Chris. Here we go. Thumbs up. What are you doing? Thumbs up. There we go. Yeah.
Trifecta. Once again, I won this movie. True Lies is a great movie. Next week, of course, we're going to be reviewing The Prestige. Looking forward to that one. Thank you so much for watching us here tonight. For Next Stop for Looney Tunes, I am the executive consultant. We will see you right here next time on Popular Review. Good night, everybody.